Love and Light friends, coming at you today from Raven Rock State Park. Just had a nice walk in the woods. Doesn't appear to be anybody out here. So I've just got acres of wild woods to myself. There's basically two ways to remember. To remember who you are. One of the ways is meditation, and the other way is speaking. You remember as you speak. It's an interesting phenomenon, but somehow when you're speaking your truth, it triggers your memories. The way that you don't do it is by thinking. Thinking will not produce the results that meditation or speaking will. I've been thinking about a comment made on one of my videos where the commenter is struggling with how it is the world wakes up when you wake up. And the way that this works, from my understanding, is that there are multiple versions of you playing out life on different timelines. And since we're in quantum reality, every possibility is possible. So every version of you is playing out on a different timeline. You are in the timeline that you are aware of, which we call our present moment. So presently you are in and on the timeline that you are aware of. Alright, so how does that affect everybody else? How, when I wake up and you wake up, does everybody else wake up? Well, when you upgrade one notch on a timeline, or you move to an adjacent timeline, all your reflections are affected by that move. So when you upgrade or integrate more of your higher self, then all of your reflections get an upgrade as well. Now, it doesn't mean that they come up to the timeline that you're on. It just means they moved up vibrationally, which places them on a different timeline as well. So I'm not saying necessarily that when you wake up, the rest of the world's going to wake up and all of a sudden we're all going to be on the same timeline with the same state of consciousness. I don't think that's how it works. But I do think that if all the other selves are connected to you, connected to your consciousness, and you're moving your consciousness higher and higher through the course of days, then this is beginning to reveal to you, as the observer, everybody else's better version. So this is not as complex as it seems, but it's kind of hard to explain it. But it's actually kind of simple. Like all the truths hidden in plain sight are so simple. To really get it, you first have to make it real complicated. That seems to be the way that we work, because we really want to try to perceive and get everything intellectually first, and then go from there. But that's not how spiritual reality works. You don't start out in the intellect and then go somewhere else. It's somewhere else, and then the intellect will follow suit. Okay, so just to recap and give it to you as simple as I can say it. Every version of every person is playing out in the quantum field. You are wherever you are, on whatever timeline you're on, state of consciousness. As you're integrating your higher self, you're moving up to higher timelines. And as you move up, the rest of the entire world moves up as well. And so what you're getting from other people, others, is a gradually progressive, better version of them, until finally you move your state of consciousness to an ascended consciousness, to where you're back in love, unity, and light, and you're back to embodying the law of one. And at that time, something very magical happens, and suddenly you find that you're in a different world, and all the versions, other people, their versions got better and better and better as you got better and better and better. So it's not like a hammer drops one day and then everybody upgrades to unity consciousness. Remember, this is all about you. It's more about you than it is everybody else. If you can just get your shite straight, everybody else's shite will get straight. Because so much of it is coming from you through your thoughts and your perceptions. That's why these people that are running around trying to find out who to blame for everything, for the problems in the world. And it's not that there's not people that are, you create karma here. You reap what you sow here. So that stuff's all in play. But you can't get sidetracked from your main mission. And your main mission is you. Is your understanding, is your growth, and hopefully your ascension. Hopefully that's your main mission, is to ascend out of this dualistic world and back into unity consciousness, back into the law of one. where the insanities that play out down here don't play out up there. But this is all, again, tied to your ego, tied to our ego, the human ego that came about as a result of incarnating into flesh. Now, we could go into we could pontificate about what takes place when you go from being a light body and a spirit being and decide to incarnate into physical matter, into flesh, and then to really throw a wrench in the machine, do it in a dualistic reality. Then the game gets crazy, real crazy. And that is the game you're in. That's the game we're in. We're in the craziest game there is going. And I think we've all had our fill. I think we've all satisfied our curiosity. I think we've all experienced what it's like to be a self-centered, selfish ego that will just plunder the very planet, the very earth that you live upon, sort of mindlessly. And if the earth is a redundancy of your body, then you're harming your own body by doing that. So of course that's just insanity. But where does this insanity come from? It comes from the ego. And so I don't want to repeat too many things, but I did want to address that comment because it did get me thinking, which is great. And I did meditate, which is great. And now I am speaking, which is great, because once again, your memories come back as you meditate and as you speak, but not so much as you think. So, the moral of today's video is do more meditating, do more speaking, and do less thinking. But sometimes you don't even need to do more speaking. Sometimes just more meditation would be fine. But, when you'll know when to speak. You'll know when to put it out there, because the thoughts, the intentions, the speaking, all of it, it all creates. So get a good handle on what it is you're creating and what it is you wish to create, want to create, and then speak about it. Speak about what you're going to create, what you're creating. And all of us have common ground when it comes to creating this world, because guess what? We all live here, right? We all want the woods and nature and the beauty to be here. And not just for selfish reasons, not just for, so my kinfolk can enjoy it or whatever. I mean, that's good too, but I'm just saying, this needs to be here because it belongs here. It was here before we were, in a sense. It is a reflection of what's inside of you. And if all this goes away and becomes a concrete parking lot, what does that tell us about what is inside us? What if all the animals were gone? What if there were no more deer? Not to shoot, not to hunt, not to eat, just to look at, to appreciate. And I'm not down on hunters and all that, whatever. You can do what you got to do, but what if there were no more rabbits? What if there were no more squirrels? The world wouldn't be the same. It would never be the same. So love and light, guys. Keep creating. Wholeness.